The United Nations Development Programme estimates there are up to 4 billion people in the world who do not have an address. This means they have difficulty identifying themselves when looking for social benefits, accessing utility services such as electricity, other services such as banking, and exercising their right to vote. They therefore remain invisible to the authorities. The current head of UN Habitat, Dr. Joan Close, has said, "At UN Habitat we are convinced that everyone has the right to an address. If you do not have an address, you do not officially exist. An address is the key to a new life." The traditional solution to give each house an address takes time because of the input from diverse stakeholders, such as the post office, government and community groups. However, since the turn of the century, with the arrival of GPS and the internet, every house can now be individually identified by its geo-coordinates by any committed organisation.
In Kolkata, India, some 1.7 million people live in slums. The people have moved here over the years from rural areas. Some have been here for over 20 years. None of these dwellings have addresses. The majority of residents live below the poverty line and are deprived of many amenities such as education, water, nutrition, sanitation, and medical care. Access to all these amenities and assistance can be easier achieved with an address.
The Hope Foundation is an NGO working in the slums of Calcutta to provide sustainable development to underprivileged people, especially the women and children. In 2012, addressing the unaddressed, working in partnership with the local community, with Hope Calcutta Foundation and with addressing experts GoCode, started working to provide an address to each dwelling in one of the slums there called Chetla. The solution is relatively simple. GoCode technology is used to map the slum. Each resident is provided with a unique GPS-verified code. This code is printed on a sign and this sign affixed to the door of the dwelling. An online database of the name, address, GoCode and mobile phone number of all slum dwellers over the age of 18 is created. Since then, using this method of cooperation with councillors, the local NGO, the community leaders, addressing the unaddressed has given tens of thousands of people in thousands of dwellings their own unique address.
Initially, some residents were skeptical that having a geocode address would help them. However, they can now see the benefits. The residents are now able to obtain bank accounts with Bank of Baroda. With bank accounts at a nationalized bank, their savings are safe and the documentation can be used as address proof.
Hi, we are here in Lake Market branch, Bank of Baroda, and we are here to know about addressing the unaddressed. So let me introduce Mr. Roy.
Most welcome, Mr. Sahu.
What does the Bank of Baroda support addressing the unaddressed?
This is a support which I felt is a unique. Addressing, identifying a person. If I am given to identify myself, it is very difficult for me if I do not have any noted address. Having a registered address, that person can go ahead for any other activities, any other government facilities or any other, say, loan or any other government facilities, or for his own identification, he can go ahead with that.
Would you like to explain a little bit on how you are using this GoCode, the addressing the unaddressed part in your day-to-day life, or you intend to do that?
If I click on this particular block and if I put that 8-digit number, and then if I go for find, and then it will directly show the particular location in the particular city, particular area. So again, to know further, if I click on that particular point, then it will give the detailed address. Then your system is supporting for sharing that address to the authority for verification purpose. So you can identify any address by giving your number, just inserting your number and finding it from your map.
Since obtaining a geocode address, each household now receives posts in their home. Here a resident shows her property on the geocode map and explains that she now receives mail directly to her property. By having an individual address, householders can now obtain individual electricity and gas connections, apply for voter and Aadhaar cards, and ensure that they obtain their ration cards.
তোমার নাম কি?
আমার নাম শিবানী অধিকারী।
তুমি এখানে কোনো কিছুর সঙ্গে যুক্ত আছো?
হ্যাঁ, আমি হোপ কলকাতা ফাউন্ডেশনের একজন সিএইচবি ও তার সঙ্গে আমি এখানকার একজন সোশ্যাল ওয়ার্কার।
এই যে বাড়ির নাম্বারটা পেয়েছো, এখান থেকে তোমার কি লাভ হচ্ছে?
এখান থেকে আমার আগে তো যা চিঠিপত্র যা কিছু আসতো তো একটা দোকানের অ্যাড্রেসে আসতো, এই নাম্বারটা পেয়ে আমাদের সরাসরি চিঠিগুলো আমাদের ঘরে আসতো।
আপনার নাম কি?
আমার নাম কালী দাস।
এই নাম্বারটা আপনি বাকি লোকেদের কিভাবে ব্যবহার করবার জন্য বলছেন?
আমি প্রত্যেকটা লোককে বলছি এই কথাটা যে রেশন কার্ডে দাও, আধার কার্ডে দাও, ভোটের আই কার্ডে দাও, চিঠিতে দাও, তোমার মিটারের বিলে দাও।
Why do you support the work of addressing the unaddressed?
Addressing is major problem our locality, so no one can find out the exact home.
So do you think that our work will help the people here?
Yes, very much help and very key project.
Thank you, Madam Councillor, for agreeing to do this interview with us.
Thank you.
So what you've seen is the benefits of having an address are numerous. The slum dwellers now have an address, so post is delivered directly to their house rather than being left on the table in a community centre. Politicians are able to ensure there's democratic involvement. The base data that we collect is used by NGOs and can be used by local authorities to plan and implement their activities. Logistics companies and emergency services can find their way to the people who need most in the slums. Banks can use the data for their KYC requirements and are using it. But most of all, from my point of view, there's a new sense of dignity because of the address that we have given. It costs €150 to do this for each one of these addresses. It'll take about another €500,000 to finish Calcutta. By the time we're finished here, we will have a database of 2 million people. We're going to license the data to people like banks, utilities, local authorities and other NGOs, so that the money that we get from those will give us the ability to move to other places and to train other NGOs to do work similar to ours, with the final objective that everybody in the world will have an address.